Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and today I wanted to go into Daniel 12 and 1. I want to go into this because we are at the end, and there's a time of great trouble that is coming. We can see that we're at the end with the different shortages that are happening throughout the world, whether it be supplies or fuel or food shortages, which those food shortages are eventually going to lead to famine, which is spoken of in the scriptures at the time of the end. There's also division everywhere. You can see it politically, whether it be left against right, right against left. You can see it against the nations on a world scale with all these wars and rumors of wars. There's also division between the sexes, with the gender war that's going on, and division against the races, and then division against different schools of philosophical thought. There's pretty much just division everywhere. And the Lord said he would set Satan against Satan, and he also said that he's coming to bring division, which should help show you that we are at the end. Also, the economies of the world are falling, not just here in America, but all around the world. And there's also the switch in the economy from the fiat currency to the digital currency, which the world governments are trying to push to the CBDC, which that will all lead to the MOTB, which is spoken of in Revelation 13 and 16. But we're at the end, and the words from the book say that at this end it's going to be a time of great trouble. So we'll get into Daniel 12 and 1. It says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." And so going back to the top, it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up." Michael being one of the archangels. And there are four archangels, that being Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Michael. Michael's name means he who is like the Most High. And he's also spoken of here in Revelation 12 and 7, at that point where he's going to come back to stand up for the Lord's people. Revelation 12 and 7, "And there was war in heaven." That war in heaven not being a historical war long ago where the devil was cast down. This being a future war in this time of trouble that's coming up, where the devil and his angels are going to try and fight against Michael. The devil being Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, and the other Gentile nations that are going to stand with him to fight against the coming of the Lord. And they're going to do that with their different space forces and their tiny little planes, and they're going to try and fight the Lord at his return. But it says, "Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven." Heaven being rulership. And so Michael's going to return. He's going to fight and absolutely demolish Esau's space force as well as the heathen space forces and completely removed them out of power. Back to Daniel. The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, the children of thy people being the Israelites, which this is Daniel that's writing this down. And there will be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And this time of trouble is referring to Jacob's trouble, which we can find here in Jeremiah 30:7. It says, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob referring to the Israelites, who are made up of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the scattered, who come from the seed of Jacob, who come from the seed of a Negro, a Latino, or a Native American, who will be scattered among the other nations, looking like the other nations. That's Jacob, and that's who can be saved. They're the only people that can be saved from under the curses and from under the hand of the heathen. We can also find this time of trouble spoken of in Matthew 24:21. It says, For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So this time is going to minimize any of the terrible things that have existed before. The world wars, the crazy famines that have existed. It's going to eclipse slavery and just any other horrible time that's existed throughout history. This time is so great that it had to be spoken of in this book. This time is going to outweigh any other time period. And there's been terrible times throughout human history. But this is a great and terrible time, which will make for a even greater and amazing deliverance out of this time. So it says, And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And then moving on, and at that time thy people shall be delivered. And so we have to have this great time of trouble, and then the deliverance comes. We can see this in look at Proverbs 11:8. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. Because this deliverance of the Israelites is also the destruction of the Edomites and the other heathen nations. They're going to, as it says in Deuteronomy 30:7, how he's going to take all these curses that were on us, and he's going to put them onto our enemies. Our main and top enemy being the Edomites, the self-proclaimed white man. Going back to Daniel. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, this being the Israelites being delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book, that book being the book of life. And he's going to deliver his elect. We're going to finish this out with Job 5:19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee, right before the 7th trump. and 7 also being the number of completion. So right before the complete end, right before the nukes drop from Russia onto America, the Lord is going to deliver us. It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. And this time we're coming into, the Lord is going to use miracles to deliver us. He might drop some food through some birds for you and your family, just like he did with Elijah. He could do it in any way possible. He said his servants shall eat. So he's going to deliver us from famine and from the wars and the power of the sword that's coming onto the earth. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. Because we are going to have confidence in the Lord's deliverance. He wrote it, he said it, that he's going to deliver us, so we have faith that he will in that time. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, which that's not something people normally do, but that faith will be so high within the Lord's elect that these things will be funny to them, watching the wicked get their just rewards. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, because they're going to all be in league with us, at peace with us. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shalt not sin. And thou shalt visit thy habitation, that being delivering us out of the land of Babylon, out of America, and wherever else we're scattered, and putting us back into our own land of Israel. And shalt not sin, because at that point is when the second covenant will be there, and we'll have the laws, statutes, and commandments written into our inner parts. And so we will not be sinning anymore. We won't be breaking the law anymore. It'll be second nature to just, or first nature to just do righteousness and do the will of the Lord. And that will also bring immortality, being with that second covenant, considering that the laws will be written in us, and to keep the law is life, but to break it is death. And so we'll have no option but to keep it, and to keep everlasting life. And with us being above all the other nations, with these law, statutes, and commandments written into us, that'll also bring peace on earth, because we'll have the dominion over these other nations, and they wouldn't be able to challenge us, which will in turn bring peace on earth. And so, with that, keep in mind that this trouble is fast approaching, but with that, the deliverance in Yahushua is coming to establish his kingdom, thus the kingdom of Israel. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.